Hello. Hello. Madungog ko? Hello? Madungog? Okay lang? Okay.
Okay na, sir. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Cebu 3rd DEO for this pre-bidding conference. As scheduled, this day, July 15, 2024, we have this pre-bidding schedule. So before we start, shall we have first a short prayer?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from
Okay, so again, good afternoon back here in Cebu 3rd DEO. We have this pre-conference meeting. So live, I am now inside the Addis office together with representative from the Stronghold Construction. No? They are here inside the room besides me. So we will now start. So this afternoon, we have about 10 projects which are scheduled to be discussed, and we will have the pre-bidding schedule this afternoon. So we have repair of bridges, and repair of, we have the multi-purpose building, construction of drainage, and shoreline protection, and some are road widening. But before anything else, for the benefit of those who are new to this Cebu 3rd, allow me to introduce to you the composition of our BAC for year 2024-2025. So yours truly, Rinaldo V. Navales. The same time, Adi is the BAC chair for this term of office, April 2024 to April 2025. We have also online our Vice Chair person, Engineer Lisel Amamio, the Chief of the Maintenance Section. And we have the regular members. We have Engineer Dali Almirol, the Chief of the Construction Section member. Regular member, we have Engineer Gracilia S. Abarquez, also our Administrative Officer. And for our provisional member, we have Engineer Pichi Ortega, the Chief of the Planning and Design Section. And we have also representative from other sections, planning and construction, who will be with us this afternoon to discuss the details of the plans, no, and the execution of the project. So without much ado, I will read first the projects covered in this pre-bidding conference. So we have contract ID 23HF0120, and these are all repair and rehabilitation of bridges at Kabituunan Bridge. We have Arpili Bridge, Talavera Bridge, Ilaya Bridge, Matabang Bridge, Matabang Bridge 1, and Matabang Bridge 2. We have the repair and rehabilitation of Alimango Bridge, repair and rehabilitation of Cabiangon Bridge, and all of these are inside the 3rd district. Some are so along Toledo, Pinamungan, Alogensan, Mantalongon Road, no? Then along Toledo, Tobuelan, San Remio Road, along Tobuelan, San Remio Road, and along Barili, Mantayupan Road, and other road sections. So that's for 23HF0120. For the next, we have contract ID 24HF0043, and this is about the rehabilitation, major repair of Cabiangon Bridge along Toledo, Pinamungahan, Alogensan, Mantalongon Road. By the way, the repair and rehabilitation of bridges, this is in cluster, and this is to be completed. The contract duration is 119 calendar days, no? Then we have the approved budget of the contract, so 115,800,000 pesos only. For the next 24HF0043, rehabilitation and major repair of Cabiangon Bridge 2 along Toledo, Pinamungahan, Alogensan, Mantalongan Road. So the contract duration is 105 calendar days. The approved budget of the contract is 19,600,000 pesos. For the third one, we have contract ID 24HF0049, and this is about the construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Poblacion, Bariles, Cebu. The contract duration is 105 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is 4,950,000 pesos only. For the fourth one, we have contract ID 24HF0057, and this is about the asset preservation, construction of drainage along Toledo, Tabuelan, San Remio Road. Location is the Astoria, Cebu. Contract duration is 263 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is 48,999,020 pesos only. For the fifth one, we have contract ID 24HF0058. The contract name is Network Development Road Widening Cebu Toledo Warp Road. So we have here the contract duration of 60 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is 6,860,000 pesos only. For the sixth project, we have contract ID 24HF0059, and this is the contract name is Network Development Road Widening Toledo, Pinamungahan, Alogensan, Mantalongan Road, which has a contract duration of 115 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is 12,232,360 pesos only. The seventh one, we have contract ID 24HF0077. Contract name is Construction of Shoreline Protection and Flood Control Structure in Barangay Daang Lunsod, Tuburan, Cebu. The contract duration is 235 calendar days, while the approved budget of the contract is 49 million pesos only. Then the next, we have the 8th project, contract ID 24X F0078. The contract name is construction of shoreline protection and flood control structure in Barangay Poblacion 3, Tuburan, Cebu. Contract duration is 235 calendar days, while the approved budget of the contract is 49 million pesos only. The ninth project is contract ID 24XF0079, and the contract name is construction of shoreline protection and flood control structure in Barangay Poblacion 6, Tuburan, Cebu. And the next one, so the contract duration for this project is 235 calendar days, and the approved budget of the contract is again 49 million pesos only. The last, we have the 10th, we have contract ID 24X F0080, construction of shoreline protection and flood control structure in Barangay Carmelo, Tuburan, Cebu. Okay, the contract duration is 353 calendar days, while the approved budget of the contract is 96,500,000 pesos only. So, these are the projects, no? So we will make it like this. We will start with the building, no? This little minor projects, no? So we will start. So present na, no, ang atong construction engineers. We'll be discussing this execution of project, then the planning. So we will start with 24X F0049, construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Poblacion, Barili, Cebu. So I'll give now the floor to the planning and design section. Engineer Glowy, who will be
Joshua.
Joshua. Engineer Joshua will be the one to discuss the detail of this project. Okay, Mr. Joshua, Engineer Joshua, take it away.
So good afternoon, Sir Ade. Good afternoon, everyone. So I will now discuss the contract ID 24HF0049, the construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Poblacion, Barili, Cebu. The location of the contract is in Barangay Poblacion, Barili, Cebu, and the total contract duration is 105 calendar days. I will now discuss the items of work involved in the project. First, we have the facilities for the engineer, which is composed of the provision of field office for the engineer rental basis and operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. Next part, we have the other general requirements. First item for this part is the permits and clearances. Next is the project billboard or signboard. Next, the occupational safety and health. And last item for this part is the mobilization or demobilization. Next part is the earthworks. First item for this part is the removal of structures and obstruction. Next, the structure excavation, common soil. Next, the embankment from structure excavation, common soil. We also have embankment from borrow, common soil. And last item for this part is the gravel fill. Next part, we have the plain and reinforced concrete works. First item is the structural concrete, 3,000 PSI Class A, 28 days. So this is for our wall footings and slab on fill. Next item is the structural concrete, 4,000 PSI Class A, 28 days. So this will be used for our main structural members and suspended slab. Next item is the reinforcing steel deformed grade 40. We also have reinforcing steel deformed grade 60. And last item for this part is the formworks and false works. The last part is the finishing and other civil work. First item is the CHB non-load bearing including reinforcing steel 150 mm. And last item for this part is the structural steel. So since this project is only for the phase 1, so that would be all for the scope of works of this project. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Engineer Joshua. So if there are questions, so we will just prepare or make ask questions. You may ask questions after all the discussion. So we proceed now to the construction execution of the project to be discussed by the construction people is present there from the construction. Okay, so we would like to escape that now. We go now to the QAS. So QAS and construction, they are having their meeting now, no? So we cannot proceed. But anyway, our contractors are familiar already with this type of project. So we might as well proceed, no? But however, we have here our representative from Stronghold. We would like to ask Ma'am Katiren if you have something to say or ask or clarify. Okay, so there being none, so we will now proceed with the next project. So we go now to the next one. We go now to the road widenings, no? There are about 2 only, no? Road widenings. So let's go now first to I think these are the same with the same items, no? And what they call the execution of the project. So 24HF0058 Network Development Road Widening Cebu Toledo Wharf Road Oling Toledo Wharf, no? So Barangay Ilihan is the location. Contract duration is 60 calendar days, and the ABC is 6,860,000. Okay, who will discuss this from the PDS?
Good afternoon, Sir Abby. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be discussing about the 24HF0058 or the Network Development Road Widening Cebu Toledo Wharf Road, Uling Toledo Wharf, kilometer 52 plus 441 to kilometer 52 plus 659. Mo ni siya ang kaniyang sumpay sa katong widening na to sa katuang sa Sangi Dapit. This has an appropriation of 7 million with a net length of 0.436 lane kilometers. Items involved are for the facilities of the engineer, we have the provisions of the field office for the engineer and the operations and maintenance of the field office for the engineer. Then for the other general requirements, we have miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard, safety and health, traffic management, and mobilization/demobilization. For earthworks, we have the removal of structures and obstructions. We have the removal of ACP or the asphalt. Then we have the surplus common excavation, the subgrade preparation, common material. Then for the subbase and base course, we have the aggregate subbase course and aggregate base course. For the surface courses, we have the bituminous prime coat MC cutback asphalt grade 70, emulsified asphalt, bituminous concrete surface wearing course hot laid 30 mm, and binder course 30 mm. For the drainage and slope protection structures, we have the reinforcing steel grade 40, structural concrete 20.68 MPa, and we have pipe covers 910 mm diameter RCPC, and then we have stone masonry. For the miscellaneous works, we have the concrete curb precast and the thermoplastic pavement markings white and yellow. That would be all for 24HF0058.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Doreen, for that discussion. So that's 0058. So again, we don't have representative from the construction and QES. We would like to ask our audience here from what we call the stronghold. Ma'am Katiren, again, do you have something to ask, clarify? Okay, no question for our representative from Stronghold. Now, before I forget, no, I would just like to report this or inform everybody regarding the effective July 1, no? We just have a meeting this morning regarding the accreditation of project engineers for contractors and the consultants for contractors, that be sure that your PEs or consultant should be accredited with our central office, no, DPWH accreditation for project engineers. Because as reported by our central office, there are some who passed, no? Last February, I think around 2,000. Is that correct, Ma'am Grace? 2,000 plus, but only 17, no? Project engineers have registered and accredited, no? Nipasar sila apan wa sila magpa-registro dito aron ma-accredit. So you have until September 30 to have your project engineers, consultant be accredited in our central office. Otherwise, your projects or your project engineer will be a factor that will disqualify you in the project if ever you win or you won the bidding, but your PEs are not accredited, so disqualify gyapon mo, no? So be sure to come up with this by until you're given September 30, no? To have this accredited. So take note of that, and that is for the record because that was emphasized last week during the with the secretary during the Unified Regional Directors meeting in Cebu City. So July 1, effective July is supposed to be, no? July 1 yun, no? Accredited na yun ang tanang project engineers sa contractors and consultants, no? So katong nakapasar na, so ipa-restore ninyo, ipa-accredit ninyo dito aron ma-confirm yun sila. No? Katong awa pa, no? So wa pa ma-restore, so you have still September 30. No? So take note of that, no? Kay usa na nga requirement. Okay, so for project 058 and 049, so there are no problems. So we proceed with the next one. Let's go to the drainage, construction of drainage. So we have only one, no? So construction of drainage. Please, PDS, try to discuss this 0057. Okay, you may have the floor now.
For the 24 HF 0057 or the asset preservation construction of drainage along Toledo Tabelan San Miguel Road, kilometer 68 to 689 to kilometer 70 pa 027. It is located in Astoria, Cebu, and has a net length of 2,752 linear meters. Items involved are before that, we propose that project will have a catch basin spacing 10 meters connected with RCPC. And then here are the items involved. For the facilities of the engineer, we have the provisions of the field office and the operation and maintenance. For the other general requirements, we have miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard, safety and health, traffic management, and mobilization/demobilization. For the earthworks, we have the individual removal of trees and then the removal of structures and obstructions. In the removal of structures and obstructions, we have the replacement cost for the affected structures in the location. And then we have the structure excavation, common soil, foundation fill, And for the drainage and soil protection structures, we have the reinforcing steel grade 40, structural concrete 20.68 MPa, and pipe culverts 910 diameter class 2 RCPC. For the miscellaneous structures, we have the curb and gutter precast, sidewalk 10 mm thickness, and the trees furnishing and transplanting. That would be all for 24 HF 0057.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Doreen, for the discussion for 0079. So after the shoreline protection, we go now to the let's see drainage. Ano ba to? Construction of drainage. Mga ba to ang 050? So 057 to the na imong i-discuss. 0.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
57 as areas na drainage.
okay, so we go now to the shoreline protection and flood control structure. So there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, no, similar projects. So you may discuss that also, no. So let's start with again PDS for the shoreline protection, please.
I'll be discussing for the shoreline protection, the 24 HF 0077, or the construction of shoreline protection and flood control structure in Barangay Dalongso, Tuburan, Cebu. Also, ako lang ni silang iusa since same naman ni sila og works na i-apply dito. Same ni 24 HF 0078, or the construction of shoreline protection and flood control structure in Barangay Poblacion 3, Tuburan, Cebu. The 24 HF 0079, construction of shoreline protection and flood control structure in Barangay Poblacion 6, Tuburan, Cebu.
Excuse me, Doreen, for a while.
Yes, sir.
Before I forget, so I would like to acknowledge the Ma'am Juan Bakyal from Kua, who is now watching us
in the YouTube.
along the in the new YouTube. So welcome, Ma'am, to this pre-bidding conference. Thank you for being with us. Okay, so proceed, Doreen.
Yes, sir. And then the 24 HF 0080, or the construction of shoreline protection and flood control structure in Barangay Carmelo, Tuburan, Cebu. The items involved for this type of project, we have the Part A facilities of the engineer. We have the field office for the engineer, and the provisions of furnitures or fixtures, equipments, and appliances for the field office for the engineer, and the operation and maintenance of the field office for the engineer. For the Part B, other general requirements, we have the project billboard, safety and health, and mobilization/demobilization. For Part E, we have the surface courses. We have the PCCP 0.20 meters thick. And for the Part F, bridge construction, we have 4051A, 1 structural concrete. And then we have for the protective works and accessories, we have 14072, or the Tetrapad. For the flood and river control and drainage earthworks, we have item 17041B, or the embankment from Barrow. For the bank and slope protection works, we have riprap class D and concrete slope protection. That would be all for the shoreline protection and flood control structures projects.
Okay, thank you again, Ma'am Doreen, for the discussion for the shoreline protection and flood control structure. So, so we go now to the cluster of repair and rehabilitation of bridges, no? For F0120. Okay, so who will discuss this from the planning section?
I will discuss Joshua.
Okay, Sir Joshua, proceed, please.
I will now discuss the contract ID 23HF 0120, the repair / / rehabilitation of bridges. So I will just generalize the discussion of the scope of work since most of these uh, projects have the same items. So I will first discuss the steel bridges. Dahil ay man og items ang steel o concrete. So the steel bridges in this project are the Matapang Bridge 1, Matapang Bridge 2, and Alimango Bridge. So I will now discuss the scope of works of the project for steel structure. First, we have the facilities for the engineer. It is composed of the provision of field office for the engineer rental basis, the operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. We also have other general requirements. First item for this part is the project billboard or signboard. Next, the occupational safety and health program. Next, the traffic management. And last item for this part is mobilization or demobilization. Next part is the earthworks. We have removal of actual structures and obstruction, 0.1 meters asphalt concrete pavement. Next part is the surface courses. We have emulsified asphalt. Next, we have the bituminous concrete wearing course, hot laid 50 mm. We also have bituminous concrete surface binder course, hot laid 50 mm. So this will be for our asphalt overlay on the bridge and approaches. Next part, we have the bridge construction. So it is composed of the expansion joint, steel finger tap. Next, the formworks and false works. And we also have an item for our carbon fiber, 2 layers, and some of which also have carbon fiber 1 layer. Next part is the miscellaneous structures. First, we have the reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white. Next, the reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow. And we also have an item for our waterproofing on deck slab. So this will be placed before the asphalt overlay. And for our cracks, we have epoxy coating on cracks. So this will be applied on cracks with thickness of less than 0.3 mm. And for cracks with 0.3 mm and greater, we have epoxy injection on cracks. We also have, for our steel members, we also have an item of special anti-corrosion paint. So that's all for the rehabilitation and repair of bridge for steel structures. So for concrete structures, specifically the Cabituunan Bridge, Arpili Bridge, Talavera Bridge, Ilaya Bridge, and Cabiangon Bridge 1. So I will once again read the scope of works for the concrete bridges. First part, we have the facilities for the engineer, the provision of field office for the engineer rental basis. Next, we have the operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. So next part, the project billboard or signboard, occupational safety and health program. Next, the traffic management and the mobilization or demobilization. Next part, we also have an item for our asphalt overlay. First, the emulsified asphalt. Next, the bituminous concrete wearing course hot laid 50 mm and bituminous concrete surface binder course hot laid 50 mm. For our bridge construction, we have protective mortar using PCM with lithium. We also have forms and false works, and we have carbon fiber 2 layers. For our miscellaneous structures, we have reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow, waterproofing on deck slab, epoxy coating on crack, and epoxy injection on crack. So for our Cabituunan Bridge and Pili Bridge, since we will be having partial deck replacement on Cabituunan Bridge and the replacement of link slab for Arpili Bridge, we have an item of 4041A, they are reinforcing steel grade 4. We also have reinforcing steel grade 6 and structural concrete 27.58 MPa class A 28 days. So that would be all for the repair / rehabilitation of bridges cluster.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Joshua, for the discussion for F0120. So how about this one, the last one? We have 24HF0043, and this is the rehabilitation of and major repair of Cabiamun Bridge 2. 043.
I will now discuss the rehabilitation / major repair of Cabiangon Bridge 2 along Toledo, Pinamangahan, Aloginsan, Mantalongon Road. So it is located in Barangay Cabiangon, Pinamangahan, Cebu, and the total contract duration is 105 calendar days. The items of work involved in this project, first part, we have the facilities for the engineer, is composed of provision of field office for the engineer rental basis. We also have operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. Next part, the other general requirements. First, we have the project billboard or signboard. Next, the occupational safety and health program. Next, the traffic management. Last is the mobilization / demobilization. Next part is the earthworks. First, we have the removal of structures or obstruction 0.1 meters ACP. We also have surplus common excavation and subgrade preparation common material. Next part is the subbase and base course. We have an item of aggregate subbase course. So this will be for our shoulder on the approaches. Next part is the surface courses. It's composed of first the bituminous prime coat MC cutback asphalt grade 7. Next, the emulsified asphalt. Next, the bituminous concrete wearing course hot load 50 mm. And last is the bituminous concrete surface binder course hot laid 50 mm. For our bridge construction, first, since we will be having steel plate adding, so we have an item of structural steel furnished, fabricated, and erected grade 7. Next, the expansion joint 50 mm gap steel finger type. Next, the formworks, forms and falls works. Next, the carbon fiber sheet 1 layer. We also have an item of waterproofing on brick slab liquid applied. So once again, this will be applied before the asphalt overlay. We also have an epoxy coating on crack, epoxy injection on crack. We also have caulking. We also have an item of patching. And the last item for this part is the special anti-corrosion paint. For our miscellaneous structures, we have an item of reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white and reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow. So that would be all for the rehabilitation or major repair of Cabiangon Bridge.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Joshua, for the discussion. So we have discussed everything already, bridges, road widening, and
Excuse me, Sir Ade.
okay, do you have something to add, Doreen?
Sir, we forgot to discuss about the 24HF0059.
Okay,
Under siya sa road widening, sir.
59. Okay, say proceed, please. Okay, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, Sir Ati. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yun, saan yun? Ronald?
I'm here to discuss the contract ID 24HF0059 and contract name, Newport Development, Road Widening, Corridor Lamangahan, Aloginsan, Mantalongon Road, kilometer 5000 to kilometer 767. Item involved, we have here Part A, facilities of the engineer, provision of field office of the engineers, and also the Part B, other general requirements. Miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard, signboard, occupational safety and health program, and also traffic management, mobilization, demobilization. And the next part, we have the part C, the earthworks. We have here the individual removal of trees. And next, the removal of structures and obstruction intended for replacement costs for the affected structures. And the next, we have the removal of actual structures and obstruction of CCP 23 meters thickness. And also we have the removal of existing guardrails, removal of existing guardrail posts, and the next surplus common excavation, embankment from the roadway excavation common soil, and also subgrade preparation common materials. And the next part, part C, the part A, sub-base and base course, the aggregate sub-base course. And we have the next part, the surface courses. And we have the Portland cement, concrete pavement, and reinforced, which we have the thickness of 23 meters, and also the PCCP pavement of 0.28 meters. And the next part, the drainage structures, we have the reinforced steel, grade 40. And the next is the structural concrete, class A. And the last part, we have the miscellaneous structures, the right-of-way monument concrete, and also the trees furnishing and transplanting, and reflectorized thermoplastic pavement marking white and yellow. And that would be all the 24 HF0059, sir.
Okay, thank you, Ronald, for the discussion for 0059. So what else do we have still not yet discussed? So I think we are through with all the 10 projects, no? So do you have something to say, Ma'am Grace? Okay, Ma'am Grace.
Sir Adia, Mr. Chairman, good
Okay.
afternoon, and to all viewers, good afternoon. I would like to remind na lang sa mga participating bidders, mga interested bidders, to update their legal documents. I think that's all for me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ma'am Grace. So you have heard that now. So we will have this bidding for this project on July 29, no? July 29. And tomorrow there will be another pre-bidding, no, for repair and rehabilitation of bridges. July 16 at 2 p.m. time, no, tomorrow. So the schedule for that will be also on July 29, the bidding 29. So if there are no more discussions, no questions, so there being none, so I'd like to thank the members, and also the engineers from the planning and design. Thank you so much for your presence, and of course to our representative from the COAS office, Ma'am Juan Bakyal, for being with us this afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much. So we will see you on July 29 at 2 p.m. So good afternoon and God bless us all. Thank you. Time check now is exactly 3:02 p.m. in the afternoon. Okay.